Spiritual Manthan.
Understanding the deeper truths about life in our world is both a blessing and a heavy load to carry. Knowing more than the surface can sometimes be a difficult journey. The deeper you look into life's mysteries, the more you see the reality behind appearances, and that's not always easy to handle. Here are 7 harsh truths that highly spiritual people will struggle with, but eventually overcome. Let's start with the big one, the existential crisis. If you're on a spiritual journey, you've probably felt it, the dark night of the soul. This isn't just a phase, it's a rite of passage, a descent into the shadowy depths of your own being. Imagine your soul as a seed planted deep in the earth. To grow, it needs to push through darkness and soil, searching for light and nourishment. It's in these shadowy depths where the roots of our spirit delve deep, seeking the sustenance necessary for the soul to flourish. During an existential crisis, everything you once found comforting may start to crumble. Old habits that seemed harmless suddenly reveal their destructive nature. This isn't a punishment, it's a process of purification and clarification. As your inner landscape shifts, so too will your outer world. Relationships, jobs, and hobbies that no longer align with your emerging truth will naturally fall away. Yes, it's painful, but it's necessary for growth. It's like shedding old skin to make way for the new. In this phase, you might feel as though life has lost its meaning. You might feel an inner sense of turmoil and pain so profound it seems as if your very existence is in danger. This is the crucible of your transformation, the fire that burns away all that is false, leaving only truth in its wake. The existential crisis is your soul's summons to a deeper truth, a call to journey into the uncharted territories of your own consciousness. It is an invitation to question, to seek, and to yearn for answers to the fundamental mysteries of existence. This crisis, disorienting as it may be, serves a divine purpose. It strips away the superficial, revealing to us the essence of who we truly are and what is genuinely important. During this phase, you may find that the very ground beneath your feet begins to shift. What once provided comfort no longer satisfies. Old habits that once seemed harmless now reveal their destructive nature. This is not a punishment, but a process of purification and clarification. As your inner landscape changes, so too will your outer world. Relationships, occupations, and pastimes that do not align with your emerging truth will naturally fall away. This process, while painful, is necessary for growth. It is the shedding of old skin, allowing for the new to emerge. Loss is inherent in this process. Friends who once walked closely by your side may no longer recognize you or wish to journey with you on this new path. It is natural to grieve these losses and feel the pain of their departure. Yet within this pain lies a powerful seed of transformation. As you move through the dark night of the soul, you may feel as if life has lost its meaning. You might feel as though your very existence is in danger due to an inner sense of turmoil and pain. This is the crucible of your transformation, the fire that burns away all that is false, leaving only truth in its wake. The fruits of this journey are manifold, but they require your willingness to accept and learn from these challenges. It is in embracing this darkness, rather than fleeing from it, that you allow your spirit to undergo the metamorphosis necessary for true growth. You are being reshaped, remolded from the inside out, and crafted into a vessel capable of holding a purer form of consciousness. The complexity of truth. As a spiritual seeker, you might yearn for absolute truths. But here's the kicker: truth isn't always black and white. The spiritual journey is filled with paradoxes and complexities that can be tough to grasp. What's true for one person may not be for another. In many spiritual traditions, it's acknowledged that what is true on one level of reality might not hold on another. Think about it like this: the truths of the physical world don't necessarily apply in the realm of the spiritual. A profound truth in one context might be irrelevant in another. This complexity can feel like a labyrinth, but it's also an invitation to explore the vastness of our own ignorance. Embracing this complexity means making peace with doubt and uncertainty. Doubt can be a powerful tool for growth, prompting us to question, delve deeper, and not accept things at face value. The complexity of truth also implies a degree of mystery and unknowability. There are aspects of the divine and the universe that are beyond human comprehension. Rather than seeing this as a limitation, it can be viewed as an invitation to explore the vastness of our own ignorance. In a world that often demands black and white answers, this openness can be challenging. Society frequently rewards those who claim to have clear-cut solutions and definitive knowledge. However, when we look at the most profound spiritual teachers throughout history, we see that they often spoke in parables and stories that invited contemplation and personal interpretation, rather than presenting fixed doctrines. So, embracing this complexity means making peace with doubt and uncertainty. Doubt can be a powerful tool for growth, prompting us to question, to delve deeper, and to not accept things at face value. Uncertainty can keep us humble and open to new possibilities. It can prevent the spiritual ego from becoming entrenched in its own perceived enlightenment. On your journey, you may discover that some of the beliefs you once held dear no longer serve you. This is a natural part of the evolution of your soul. With each layer of complexity, you gain a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things, the impermanence of form, and the eternal nature of consciousness. Difficulty finding love. The quest for deep, meaningful love is often one of the most profound struggles for those on a spiritually awakened path. When your soul yearns for a connection that transcends the ordinary, the journey can feel incredibly lonely. You're not just looking for a partner, you're seeking a soulmate, someone who resonates with your highest self. This type of love goes beyond the physical and into the realms of the spiritual and soulful. In a world that prizes instant gratification over deep bonding, your awakened self craves more. You want conversations that stretch into the night, filled with musings about the universe and the essence of being. Casual connections no longer satisfy the deeper longing within you. This can make the search for love feel more daunting. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack in a world that often values the superficial over the profound. But here's the thing, before you find this kind of love, you must first pour love into yourself. Cultivating self-love creates a foundation for a relationship that's not just about finding a match for your physical presence, but for your soul's presence. This path requires patience and faith in the divine timing of your life. The longing you feel is a signal, a call out into the universe for that kindred spirit. Remember, the universe operates not on our desired schedules, but on a divine timeline that understands when we are truly ready, not just to find love, but to embrace and nurture it. In the meantime, the love that you seek from another is also seeking you. The connections you desire are forming unseen, preparing to manifest at just the right moment. So while the search for a soulful partner continues, let the love you carry within you be a gift to the world. Let it spill over into your interactions, your creativity, your service to others. In this way, you become a beacon of love, and this light is what will ultimately guide your true love to you. The reality of suffering. Suffering is an inescapable part of the human experience. No matter how advanced one becomes on their spiritual path, suffering is a universal truth that intertwines with all lives. It comes in many forms: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Yet, if we are to grow and mature on our spiritual path, understanding and learning from suffering is crucial. Suffering can crack the surface of our ego, revealing deeper layers of our being and reminding us of our shared vulnerability. It can tear down the walls we've built around our hearts and open us up to a more profound sense of compassion and empathy for ourselves and others. When we experience suffering, it has the potential to crack the surface of our ego, revealing deeper layers of our being and reminding us of our shared vulnerability. The spiritual approach to suffering isn't about seeking it out or glorifying it, but recognizing its role in our evolution. When we experience suffering, it can shake us from complacency, prompting us to question our life's direction, values, and purpose. It encourages us to seek new perspectives and find strength and resilience we may not have known we possessed. The wisdom traditions of the world teach us that the key to dealing with suffering is not to escape it, but to go through it with awareness. This means acknowledging our pain, sitting with it, understanding its roots, and learning what it has to teach us. It's about finding the delicate balance between accepting suffering as a part of life and not becoming identified with it. In other words, we recognize that while we may experience suffering, we are not defined by it. To integrate suffering into our spiritual journey is to allow it to teach us the art of surrender, to let go of what we cannot control, and to focus our energy on what we can influence. It teaches us to be present with what is, rather than what we wish would be. In that presence, we often find the seeds of healing and growth. The challenge of letting go. Letting go is a profound and often challenging aspect of the spiritual journey. It's not just about physically releasing something, it's a metaphysical act of releasing the tight grip our minds and egos have on ideas, desires, and attachments. This includes letting go of material possessions, outdated beliefs, old grudges, and past disappointments, anything that hinders our spiritual growth. Why is letting go so difficult? Our ego, which is the sense of a separate self, is built on attachment. It finds identity in the past and security in the familiar. Our psyche is wired to cling to experiences, relationships, and identities that it has grown accustomed to, even when they no longer serve us or cause us pain. This clinging gives us an illusory sense of control and safety. Letting go requires us to confront the unknown, embrace uncertainty, and trust in the unfolding of life. It asks us to surrender to a greater wisdom, a universal flow that governs all of existence. The practice of letting go is deeply interwoven with the practice of trust. Trusting the process of life requires a leap of faith, a faith that doesn't rest on the predictability of outcomes, but on the inherent goodness of the universe. When we let go, we make room for new experiences, opportunities, and perspectives to enter our lives. It's about creating space for growth and expansion. Letting go also means forgiving ourselves and others. Forgiveness is a release of the heavy burden of resentment and animosity, which can block the flow of spiritual energy in our lives. Through forgiveness, we liberate ourselves from the chains of negative past experiences and open our hearts to the healing power of love. Each act of letting go is a lesson in humility and an acknowledgement of the transient nature of all things. It is a practice that aligns us with the truth that everything is impermanent and that our true essence is not found in the external trappings of life, but in the depths of our being. The challenge of letting go is also about releasing the tight grip our minds and egos have on ideas, desires, and attachments. This includes letting go of material possessions, outdated beliefs, old grudges, and past disappointments, anything that hinders our spiritual growth and freedom. Why is letting go so difficult? Our ego, which is the sense of a separate self, is built on attachment. It finds identity in the past and security in the familiar. Our psyche is wired to cling to experiences, relationships, and identities that it has grown accustomed to, even when they no longer serve us or cause us pain. This clinging gives us an illusory sense of control and safety. The work of self-reflection. The journey within is not always a comfortable one. Highly spiritual people often find that self-reflection requires them to confront parts of themselves they may not like. Self-reflection is an art, a sacred dialogue with oneself. It involves turning inward and peering into the places within us that are often veiled in darkness, the fears, insecurities, and suppressed emotions that reside in what Carl Jung termed the shadow. Engaging in shadow work is a commitment to truth. It requires us to acknowledge that our darker characteristics are as much a part of us as our virtues. This acknowledgement is not an act of self-condemnation, but an embrace of the totality of our being. It is in the soil of this acceptance that the seeds of transformation are sown. The process of self-reflection and shadow work is an excavation. It's about digging deep into the psyche to unearth the roots of our behaviors and emotions. It's about asking the hard questions. Why do I react this way? What am I truly afraid of? Where did this belief about myself originate? This is the work of warriors, for it takes a stout heart to face oneself completely. In this inner work, we are not looking to discard parts of ourselves or to create a new persona. Rather, we are seeking to integrate all aspects of our being into a harmonious whole. As spiritual beings, we are called not to perfection but to wholeness. This wholeness encompasses the light and the dark, the seen and the unseen, the known and the mysterious. It is in the embrace of this wholeness that we find the truest expression of freedom. Self-reflection is a practice that requires honesty and courage. It is about looking at ourselves with clear eyes and an open heart. It is about acknowledging our fears, our insecurities, and our mistakes, and seeing them not as failures, but as opportunities for growth and learning. It is about understanding that our shadow is not something to be feared or rejected, but embraced as a vital part of who we are. An endless journey. The spiritual journey often begins with the misconception that there is a finite end, a pinnacle of enlightenment that, once reached, will render us complete. But the reality is far different and indeed far more beautiful. The spiritual path is an endless journey, not a destination. It's like the flow of a river, constantly moving, constantly changing, and never exactly the same in any 2 moments. Learning to embrace the fluid nature of life and our personal development is central to spiritual growth. It's in this perpetual flow where we find the essence of our existence, not in any static state of arrival. The spiritual path is not about becoming someone else, but about continuously becoming more profoundly and authentically ourselves. Each moment presents an opportunity to learn, expand, and deepen our understanding of who we are and how we connect to the world around us. The realization that there is no ultimate state of enlightenment to achieve frees us from the pressure of arriving and allows us to fully engage with the process itself. You may find that the milestones you once sought, becoming a master or reaching enlightenment, shift and evolve as you do. Enlightenment is not a permanent state to achieve. It's a series of moments, insights, and experiences that enlighten us to new aspects of our existence. It is not the cessation of learning, but the embrace of continuous growth. This journey is not without its challenges. There will be highs and lows, successes and failures, joys and sorrows. Yet, it's through this spectrum of experience that we come to appreciate the fullness of life. As you continue on your path, let this knowledge be your guide and your comfort. The journey is endless, and that is not a burden, but a gift, the precious gift of eternal becoming. The concept of an endless journey can feel daunting. After all, the idea of continuously striving, learning, and growing can seem exhausting. But consider the alternative: a stagnation of spirit, a life devoid of discovery, a journey cut short. It's the ongoing nature of the journey that keeps life vibrant and exciting. The realization that there is no ultimate state of enlightenment to achieve frees us from the pressure of arriving and allows us to fully engage with the process itself. Thank you for tuning in. If this message resonates with you, please share it with someone who may need it and share your experience in the comments below. Have a wonderful time ahead, and may your journey be filled with light and love.